Okay, we're starting on the Gabe Zimmerman Davidson Canyon trailhead, and we don't know where we're going. Okay, I'm going to also open Osmand, and it's recording so we can see what we're doing. Okay. This is part of the Arizona National Scenic Trail.
So what is a National Scenic Trail? I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, that's what the Arizona Trail is.
So
I think we're going up this way.
yeah. So I was probably right over here, right across the stream.
Yeah, you weren't far away, I'm sure. But
anyway, it doesn't work. What you have to know is the name of the thing, and then the car version will, the Google Maps thing will take you to the right place by a route that's usable.
Yeah, Google Maps.
That guy laughed at me. He was really amused.
Did he know around here?
Oh yeah, he knew exactly where. He pointed me to that trestle right over there. And he said, "That's where you're going." I mean, he lived out there, out at the end of that road.
Yeah.
You see the trestle right over there? That's where you're going.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely right.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's just wander out here. Oh, I didn't start my watch.
No, I didn't start mine either.
Okay, I got it now.
Yep, so did I. Wow, how was your...
Look, there's a bench or something up there.
Yeah. Well, there was one right over.
Yeah, and there was a little ramada there. It's a pretty nice place if you want to do it.
But you see that thing do stuff on the top of that hill over there?
Yes.
Didn't that used to be like a castle?
Yeah, that's the castle. I don't know what the status is
from
now.
what it was.
I don't know.
Years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what the status is now. Some guy owned it.
Yeah.
And I think he was trying to sell it.
Right. I remember that. I saw that.
I think that may be Cienega Creek down there.
Anyway, I am so sorry I got you.
No, it's okay. I don't care.
Well,
it gave me time to apply. Gave me time to apply for a permit.
How much was it?
I think it's free.
Oh.
But they want to know who's.
They want to know who's in there.
Yeah, because they're having a. It's a sensitive area along the creek.
Right.
That's what they say. And so.
Yeah, I'm sure that they probably want to limit people from going there.
And most of the people in the parking lot had permits. They had put them on their car, you know.
Yeah.
So. And one guy had some written out longhand, and he said, "I don't have a printer." So.
Interesting. I didn't know anybody didn't have a printer.
No. You know, I looked at somebody like Best Buy or Office Depot or something,
Yeah.
was selling an HP printer much like mine for $119.
Oh, those things have come way down.
And I measured it. Of course, mine is working perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't need a printer. But the one thing is it would be smaller. Although not much.
Is that an advantage?
Well, yeah, or not much smaller. It wouldn't be much smaller.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, my sort of methodology for printers these days is to
wait.
the pricing on the cartridges,
Yeah,
and sometimes it's cheaper to just buy a new printer.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm paying $60 for. Well, I'm paying $100 for a set of cartridges.
How are you
Even-
how are you getting it?
Even from HP.
Well, no, but I mean, Costco has them too.
Well, I buy the HP ones.
Right, but I mean the ones Costco sells the HP ones.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're
pricing-
probably as cheap as anybody, but
Who is?
HP offers discounts
Yeah.
because I'm registered.
Right.
And,
Not only that, they send them to you over.
and they overnight them. So, and I don't need them very often.
No, I don't either. I don't print a lot of stuff. What?
Little hedgehog cactus in there. But quite a bit of grass out here. I wonder what the elevation is.
Well, just a minute.
3412. I have. Sometimes they just hang up.
No, it's got a GPS location.
Yeah. Well, like the other day, I went running.
I think my watch got updated. And sometimes that points out
Yeah.
modifications that you have to.
And sometimes you just have to restart it.
Yeah.
I noticed the other day when I started running, and I started climbing, and I wanted to get my heart rate. And it said my heart rate was 80, and I knew that wasn't right because, but of course I couldn't restart the
Did you
watch.
think it was low or high?
I thought that was low.
Oh.
I was be up around 140.
Oh.
And
So you were really pounding the wall.
yeah. And so, I mean, that's why I wanted the heart rate. You know, I wanted to know how close to death I was.
Well.
Yeah, there's an old truck down there.
Yeah. That's a car, actually.
Pick up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's a car.
The engine's in front and the hood is missing.
Yeah.
You guys can come with me.
So,
Oh, okay, well.
We've already done the 800 miles. We're on our way
yeah.
back.
Oh, okay.
But you know, so I couldn't restart the watch, reboot the watch,
Why?
because I would lose my hike. I was in the middle of recording a hike.
You should be able to.
I mean, it isn't going to pick up where it left off. It's going to lose the map. You know, the information. It's going to lose the.
Well, not if you force it to sync before you do that.
Well, I could do that, but I'm not using my phone, so I can't really sync it.
Oh. You're not using the GPS?
No, I've never set it up. It won't. I can't get it to set up.
Really?
Yeah. So I can sync it to the phone. It syncs by Wi-Fi automatically when I get home, or when I get to Wi-Fi. But anyhow, so I just waited. I just continued, right?
Yeah.
So in a little bit, it showed the right heart rate.
Yeah.
So
well,
who
part
knows?
of that also depends on how tight you have your watch.
Well, I know, but the watch was plenty tight to get it right. I was looking at that car. I think it is some kind of pickup, like one of those El Caminos or something.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a car.
Yeah. I thought I saw the trunk tagged in the back.
Anyhow.
I thought the car was facing away from
Yeah. Anyhow, I had a whole list of things to talk to you about.
You now have forgotten them?
Probably. I was actually going to write them down. And then, just as I'm breezing along and coming to the 83 exit, some joker from my skin doctor calls, and they need to change the appointment.
When is your appointment?
March 15th. They need to change it to March 18th. So there I am, trying to talk to him, trying to get across to him, because he's some flunky, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to get across to him the fact that Charlotte and I have an appointment at the same time, and he's going to have to call somebody else. And so
isn't that irritating? Usually I just tell
well,
them
it always happens at the exact moment when you really need the map.
Well, or
you know,
or that that you're trying to navigate in traffic and stuff like that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's another.
That's a little mammillaria. Is that? I'm going to take a picture of it. I joined a group that wants pictures of things in the Rincon Mountain area. And I naturalist, especially in the high country, but this wouldn't qualify as the high country.
It's higher.
But it's the general area. But anyway,
so do you remember any of the things?
yes, I remember one thing,
Okay.
which has been preying on my mind. All right, well, first of all, I haven't, my accountant is not ready to talk. He wants
your
to,
taxes.
right, he wants to wait till my
Your
1099s from Raymond
Right.
James come, and it's going to be March 31st, like.
Okay.
But although they're supposed to be here by the 15th, but
Those things seem to always be late,
so
and your distribution,
yeah,
things are always late, and they don't seem to do anything about it.
well, they don't do anything that isn't permitted by law. They follow the law.
No, I'm saying the companies that issue those things don't seem to.
Oh no, they don't give a damn. They'll issue them as late as they want.
Right.
But anyway,
Howdy.
anyway, so we haven't figured out yet about
No, that's fine. Whatever you decide to do is fine.
Well, anyway, now here's the thing. I want to talk about the actual business.
Okay.
All right, now the reason I'm looking at these various properties is to, I mean, I haven't really figured out what to do, right? What the main objective is. It looks like there might be water out there. Can't tell for sure.
Well, those look to me, I mean, there may be some.
Maybe it's dried out.
Yeah, I think it is.
Anyway, so some of these properties I'm looking at may seem pretty funky.
They seem what?
Pretty funky.
Oh, yeah.
One option is to buy a cheap one that permits an RV or something like that, right?
Right.
Where you don't have to build.
Right.
And, you know, if Charlotte weren't involved, I mean, and whether she's involved or not, I'm not sure, because she's going to say no to anything. just like she did with the house here.
Yeah.
I think the thing that will change her mind is a good hot summer. But
which we're likely to get.
Which could happen.
Howdy. Good, how about you?
There's some people down on the trail.
Oh, we're just wandering. Probably about 4 or 5 miles round trip.
So have you been to the tunnel?
No.
Not that
You're
far.
going to see, you'll see it. If you're going for it.
We just went there, went through it.
It goes under the interstate.
Oh, I see.
And it's a nice walk. It's an easy
Someone
walk.
has painted a big mural of a snake's open mouth.
Oh,
And the
I
tunnel that
see.
takes you under. Yeah.
That's worth seeing.
It is worth seeing, I think.
Thanks, guys.
We might make it down by 10.
Yeah.
You can see it down there. Anyway,
So she's going to say no, but
this trail is actually pretty nice because it's up on the ridge.
yeah,
And you get good views in every direction. All right, so, you know, she's going to say no to anything at this point, and possibly forever. Now, the other...
yeah, because she's not able physically very well anymore, is she?
Well, incidentally, her heart sonogram or ultrasound came out perfect.
Okay.
So at this point, she has no problems. She has a glaucoma that's more or less under control,
Right.
with no deterioration. She's got
How does she feel about all this?
She's got at least a year's supply of drops, thanks to Bosch and Lomb, for free, which may change after this tax year, but it's funny, they use the AGI on the tax return to determine eligibility.
Right.
So all right, she has $70,000 in tax-free municipals, so that doesn't show up in the AGI.
Right.
So, anyway, so the thing is, I thought maybe you could buy one of those small plots and you could get one of these prefab tiny houses or something. Now, you might even be able to buy one.
Well, you could do what Jeff has.
Well, yeah, you could buy a motorhome, which would probably be a lot cheaper. You could buy one.
Well, and then you could drive there and back from it. I mean,
or park it there. I
wouldn't do that because it would get vandalized.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so possibly would a tiny home, unless you bought it in some kind of community.
No, even then.
But
any place that's not occupied is likely to be vandalized or squatted in.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that would be true for any second home you would get.
Unless you rented it out.
Yeah. But it'd be hard to rent a place up in the cool country for the winter.
Yeah, it would.
And I mean, I don't know, but I'm guessing.
I mean, there are people that live up there year-round, but then you wouldn't be able to have it when you need it.
Right, that's exactly right.
I mean, that's the challenge.
And now the other thing you could do is like that Whispering Pines or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Which, that may not be the actual name of it, or La something or other.
Yeah.
Up there north of Show Low, just north.
Right.
White Mountain Lake, it's on a lake.
Right.
Or near a lake. And there you can buy a pad, right?
Uh-huh.
But you're going to pay $150 a month in fees.
Right.
Now there I would think that it would be unlikely to be vandalized.
I don't agree. Well.
Now, of course, if it was me, now, you know, if I expected Charlotte to want to use it and be positive about it, I would have to buy like a tiny house that was all wood. It was not, you didn't have any particle board or junk.
That would not be acceptable.
Because that would be less acceptable to her. Although, I mean, after all, she's living in a house now with wallboard,
right.
Which and has for years. But the fact is, I mean, that's one of her prejudices, right? So you could make it more palatable if you could get one that was all wood. Like log cabin style or something, you know, that was, and they make them.
Well, sure they do, but they're expensive.
Well, they're all moderately expensive. But now, if it was just, if it
could drive up and back.
Yeah, if it was just you or just me, well, then you'd have to park the damn thing when you're home.
Well, yeah, but you know what? It's not that hard to do.
Well, I think actually if it was small enough, you could park it for free at where we live, in the back places there.
I mean, what do couples do when they have two cars?
Well, they park in another spot besides there. Yeah. Which they're allowed to do.
So is that whole place, is that whole complex totally gives you one car?
No, it doesn't say that. It says if you have a second car, you have to park it in that back area that I showed you.
Okay.
You know, the empty area.
Well, that's not a problem, because you're not going to need it all the time to be near you.
Yeah, I know. And if you had something, I mean, that would raise the question of what kind of thing do you buy?
Well, the other thing you could do, because you don't have the right kind of car for it, I
can't tow it.
You could get a trailer type RV.
Right, I can't tow it.
No. Yeah.
There's another one. I don't need another picture.
I like seeing those things over at the Desert Museum.
Oh yeah, well they're all around.
Well, you don't see them just everywhere.
No, but of course they develop colonies where the terrain is right, the soil and all.
The climate matters too.
Yeah, and the soil. So anyhow, now if it was just me, or maybe just me or you, right? Yep. That was planning to use it,
right.
You could buy a mobile home. Like, maybe not as prestigious as the one we had out in Corona to Tucson. Look at that, there's a big tower on top of that mountain.
Yeah.
I don't remember that from when we lived out there. It probably wasn't
Well,
there.
Probably a cell tower.
It probably wasn't there.
Right. There's all kinds of stuff that's gone up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like a microwave tower.
Yeah. And that would make some sense. Microwave to Patagonia or something.
Well, or Sierra Vista.
So,
I mean, the only thing about having an RV, I mean, the virtue of it is that you don't have to worry about it being vandalized up there. And you could drive it back and forth.
and also, it would be self-contained. If
Right.
you were going to put something in, then you would have to have
Well, you'd have to
a septic tank,
Right,
and you'd have to have water and electric.
right,
With an RV, you wouldn't really need any of them.
right.
But I don't know how.
You could get, you know, power.
You could get water and power and put in some kind of hookup.
Would you have to drill a well to get water?
In some cases, yes, but in other cases, there's water available.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like that one I sent you, there's a Keystone Water Company
Right, I saw that.
where you can get water.
And frankly, unless you went up there for more than, you know, a long weekend or something, the RV would really struggle. And certainly would feel like it was
Yeah.
roomy enough.
But of course, Charlotte doesn't like RVs much, and it's probably because she lived in one for like 2 years while their house was being built. She had to.
Yes, and I mean, who would want to for 2 years?
No, right. Because, you know, their house, when they built their house in Mequon,
Right.
they hired a guy who was almost an architect to be their principal contractor, and it turned out he was a lush who stole the last progress payment, and was a constant fight to get him to do.
Well, anybody could broke has those problems.
And it was a constant fight to get him to do things the way they had stipulated.
Right.
I mean, and so, and it took 2 years to get the house finally built.
Right.
And a lot of extra money. They actually had to pay extra at the end
Right.
because the guy didn't finish. And so they had to hire other guys to do
Right.
the balance of the work that he had absconded with the money
I think.
with.
Yeah, I've obviously never built a house, but I think I would be inclined to be my own general contractor.
Yes. And
That way,
well, that's
I
what.
mean, but the problem with that is, you know, if you're basically doing something else full time,
Right, it's
you
hard
don't
to.
have time for that crap.
Right. But of course, you're not doing something else right now.
Right. Well, but now I don't have any desire to build one.
No, but one thing you could do is find a piece of property, you know, a nice piece of property, and either use an RV or put in some kind of a house.
Yeah.
And
You know, the only reason why I think if I were doing something like that, I would get a trailer type thing, is that I would not want to have to maintain a separate vehicle.
well, I couldn't tow the vehicle anyway.
No, you couldn't, but you know what you could do is you could have like
You could rent a pickup or something,
Yes, exactly.
tow it up there and park it.
Right.
And then, now you would have to worry about vandalizing.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You don't want to take it up there. I mean, the reason why I'm saying get an RV of any kind is so you don't need anything there when you're not there.
Yeah, and of course you don't have to. Right. With an RV type vehicle, if it wasn't too humongous, you could just park where I am now. You wouldn't have to find a place to park it.
Right. Well, for that matter, I wouldn't have that problem because I could just park it in my driveway.
Well, that's true.
And so for that matter for you, if you were willing to,
Come down and get it, yeah. Well, that would be a reasonable thing. See, those lots, you buy a lot for $9,000.
Right.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
And if
although I've seen them for less.
Well, in different places.
Right.
But if you don't have to do anything, I mean, I could afford a tent.
The other virtue of the RV idea, Bruce, is you could also go to other places.
Well, that's true.
Which, if you build something or, install
right, then you want to go there all the time.
You're going to always go.
That's true. Well,
and if you decided you didn't like the location or something, you'd have to basically sell the whole.
Right, instead of just the lot.
Yeah. Or, I mean, so in other words, the idea is if you buy the thing that you're talking about and then it turns out you don't really like that area,
you could
sell the thing. And
the lot, and you could sell the
land, basically.
Right, you could sell the RV if you couldn't drive it or something. Now with the RV, you would have insurance and all that nonsense.
Yeah, but I mean, the insurance is not that expensive.
Well, it's going to be another $1,500 a year.
Well, not if it's a trailer.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be. But then the trailer would
have to have some concern about your ability to navigate with the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if
but there's no free.
and of course, I'm not in condition where I could repair an RV constantly the way Jeff can.
That's why I don't want to own anything but the trailer part of it. And that's the part that, in my terms, is more likely to not be maintenance.
Well, that's possible.
I think what Jeff spends all his time with his thing is, fixing the engine and all that shit.
Well, and of course he likes doing that stuff.
He likes it anymore.
Well, it takes a lot of time.
Right.
And
that's what he spends his life doing.
But also, like Jeff, he's always looking to do something just a little bit better than it was before. So he's going to change
You also don't want to own a vehicle that requires a lot of stuff just to be safe,
No, right. We're in Harwood up at a friend's house.
At where?
At friend's house. She had a Ford van conversion RV.
Yeah.
An old one.
Right.
The old chassis, no windows, with a bed in it and various systems. It did have various systems, like I'm sure a stove and a refrigerator and electric and all. She was trying to sell it, and she said that it had some engine-related problems.
Right.
But or not necessarily with the RV part.
Right.
But she wanted an arm and a leg for it. But if she still has it and hasn't sold it in 2 years,
Well, that would tell you something, not just by itself.
She might
Oh, she
have
might-
changed her tune,
Yeah.
but
She may not really want to sell it.
I know.
She hasn't sold it after all this time.
I looked into it and it once, and it had a really nice bed. I mean, you know, it was good size.
Yeah.
And it now the thing about something like that is probably no shower, right?
Well, you know, but if you're just going for a long weekend, you might not.
Well, that may not be too important.
It might not be too late.
Important.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might like it.
That Charlotte would think it would be
Important.
important.
Yeah.
She takes a shower in the morning to get limbered up.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally understand that. But I mean, I think if you got the right RV, you might be able to have that.
A shower, if you could store enough water.
But again, in order to make that doable, you'd have to have a source of water up there.
Yeah,
And then, of course, you'd have to have propane for the...
and you'd have to have a place to dump it.
Yeah, I don't know what... I wonder who's going to buy that.
Yeah, I was wondering too. It looks like it's for... It looks like it's for like turning on and off a pump or something.
Well, you know what I would guess that it is? So that looks like a microwave thing that's sitting on the side of it because it's a highly
yeah.
directional Yagi array. And then the other thing is a dipole antenna. I'm going to guess that that's for somebody's two-way communication.
Yeah, police or something.
And what the Yagi array does is talk to the base station. I mean, it could even be the sheriff.
Yeah, something like that. Could be. There's a road up here.
So, Bruce, I did renew my E&O insurance, which I was debating not doing.
Yeah.
And I did raise the liability or deductible to $5,000 from $1,000. And that cuts the price by $100. And I did that because I want to be able to still have my business.
Yeah. Well, that probably makes sense.
And I felt that in order to use that credible, I have to, have the usual trappings of the trade.
I guess you refinanced your home at the right time.
Oh yeah, I got a good deal.
Interest
The
rates.
interest rate is above where I am now.
Oh, it's about 4%, maybe higher.
Yeah, it is. Just about 4. It's 3.9 something. And mine is like 3 or 3.5. But I would still rather have had it paid off.
Well,
Yeah,
how's that going to happen?
What?
How is that going to happen?
Not gonna.
That's right. But if you think of the money you're saving on rent, it's well worth it.
Oh yeah. Although there's tons of properties in my neighborhood that are rental properties that are for rent right now.
But they're getting premiums for rentals. Now,
Well, I'm sure the market is.
you know, in general, rents are up too. Rents are up.
I think these are businesses that own rental properties.
Yeah.
Basically. They're not, mom and pop rentals.
Right, but the thing is, I don't think they're feeling the pain yet.
Well, I don't think they are going to feel the pain because they probably paid cash for those buildings or for those houses. And so, yes, they're not getting any income when they're not occupied, but they're also not paying anything either.
Right, except the taxes.
Well, yeah.
Right. But
Well, I mean, it seems to me that the approach that you're taking here is just about the only really good one available to you.
now you could look somewhere else besides. I mean, if you think of a purchase as an investment,
Right.
it's not the best time unless you're going to pay a premium to buy anything. And whether the prices are going to hold up, it might take a really long time to get your money back. Especially
Yeah, I mean, clearly,
if we go into recession.
well,
I mean,
the only way that I approach stuff like this is that you have to evaluate each potential deal on its own merits. And you don't know whether you're going to be able to get a good deal or not until you see it. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, I mean, you have to actually look at the place,
Right,
examine the options.
4% for a mortgage rate is not horrible.
No. I mean, when we were investing in Arizona years ago, we were paying 5 at a
Or
minimum.
more.
And
That's why, everybody's inflation fears and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, but
Really, to me, premature.
the other thing I've been reading about is how the Fed has been wrong in like almost half of the last inflation fighting episodes. They have made the wrong decisions and thrown the economy into recession.
Right, because part of it is that you don't have complete information
Yeah.
at any given time, and you're projecting, not just going
Well,
on
sure.
actual facts.
But it doesn't give me any confidence that the Fed will be able to do anything
Well,
to stem the inflation.
I used to have, you remember my Professor Cranmer?
Yeah, yeah.
At Drew?
Uh-huh.
He used to always say, the economy has a great set of brakes, but a really poor accelerator.
Yeah,
And what he meant by that was that the Fed has tools that make it really easy to contain inflation. I mean, they can always
Inflation?
clamp down on that. And, the price, of course, is unemployment, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's black people and
yeah.
stuff like that they are affected. But the problem is to get the economy cranked up
Yeah.
enough, and there's a huge lag with that also.
Well, and of course they did succeed in getting the economy cranked up.
Right. And so now, they have to worry to some extent. I mean, it's not even clear that we're going to escape a recession, given
Well, that's true, but the thing is, everybody is talking inflation now.
Yes, because that's what the media is saying.
And the thing about that is it's self-fulfilling.
Yes.
You know.
Everybody thinks it's going to happen, so of course it does.
So it happens, right? And that's
I mean, it's clear to me that large businesses and smaller businesses, for that matter, are taking advantage of that mindset to jack up prices.
yeah, right.
And they're doing it because they can.
Yeah, of course.
It has nothing to do with their cost.
That's right.
Well,
And-
it's not much to do with their cost.
That's right. And it's but it does mean, and of course we have international crises that are
Well, yeah.
causing gas prices.
Ukraine is not gonna
Yeah,
help.
you've got gas prices going up, which
Although
is
there's some discussion about putting an abeyance on gasoline tax for a moment.
well, one of the things about the gasoline is if oil stays up at $100, the Permian Basin is going to open up. Those guys are going to go back to drilling,
Right.
and then there'll be a flood of U.S. gasoline. You know, a flood of U.S. production.
Well, the other thing is that the U.S. is not really short of gasoline right now. And again, the oil companies are profiteering.
Yeah, they're manipulating it through refinery closings and
I mean,
maintenance
they move stuff all around. You know, the ownership of crude oil changes even while the thing is on the ocean.
yeah, right. And
I mean,
but
those
still, and if you have a Prius, you know, yeah, if you have a Prius,
If you have what?
if you have a Prius, even at $4 a gallon, it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, you know.
The automobile manufacturers probably have to worry because what they've been selling are crossovers and trucks.
Well, yeah.
Those are not that well reported.
No, but they've got these big commitments to produce electric vehicles. They've got these big commitments to produce electric vehicles
Right.
in a few years, which are going to be really hard to meet, but still.
Well, they're going to be hard to meet because they haven't really gotten behind electric vehicles.
And there's no charging.
I mean, if you go to a car dealer, you're going to have to have an electric vehicle.
And of course, there's no charging either.
There's no charge.
There's no charging available.
Oh, that's not true anymore. It just is.
Well, I think about what if I had an electric vehicle? Where the hell would I charge
You would
it?
have more trouble than I would because you couldn't install a service.
Right, yeah, I know.
But that's, you know.
But it also limits what you can do on the road. You know, the latest thing, which I don't know why they didn't think of before.
The one thing you could do is take it to, you know, what to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Or one of those places where you can charge it up while you're doing your shopping.
Yeah. Well, the way I do my shopping, I'd have to, like, eat a meal there before.
What?
I would have to, like, eat a meal there before it would charge.
If you go to the store and you buy more than 2 things, you're going to spend 45 minutes. And then, you know, with the right charging setup,
the people who will really benefit from the electric vehicles are the commercial. You know, anybody who.
Well, that's why Biden is so mad at that asshole running the postal service.
Yeah. I mean, because the vehicles return to the same place every night, and then they sit all night.
Right.
So they could be easily recharged.
Right.
And like Amazon trucks.
But I think that places like your complex are going to have charging facilities.
Well, yeah, eventually they're going to have to put them in. That's true. You know, have you read about what Ford announced that they're selling pickups, all electric pickups.
So is GM.
But they have a gasoline engine in the bed to recharge.
Oh, that's like the Chevy Volt.
So you can.
Which basically use the gasoline engine only to recharge the battery.
Yeah, that's
basically.
So what they're doing, they've designed essentially a portable unit.
Yeah.
That can be put in the bed of the pickup and I guess it's the bed. I haven't really looked at it.
Well, Chevy has a Silverado that's all electric. It's an EV, battery electric vehicle. But it doesn't have any internal charging stuff. With the Ford thing, you can run your house on it.
Yeah. Do you want to go through here, or?
We can turn around if you want.
Okay. It's been 1.5 miles.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. I mean, every once in a while, something screws up like I did today. And, you know.
No, that's all right. The time is not a problem for me. But so now the odds are that you can find an RV cheap enough.
Well, you know, the other thing is I think you're going to see those things in battery electric.
Oh yeah, but I think you can probably buy a used RV back to the.
I mean, the other thing you could do is finance that.
Well, the money's not the issue.
Well,
but
it's still, you know, why not use other people's money?
Well, because of the interest.
Well, it depends how much it is, right?
Yeah, but.
I mean, it's whether or not you can make more on it having it or not.
Well, I can't.
Huh?
I can't.
Well, you probably can't these days because the
municipal bonds are really low.
What do you figure your rate of return is on your investment?
I don't know. I'm lucky if it's 3%.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, auto loans are in many cases below that.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of, you know, zero financing stuff around.
But they always bilk you on the price if they do that.
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, it depends on what it is. I mean, it's like the vehicle that I got. The price on that thing was well below what I would have expected it to be.
Uh-huh.
And for a car that had only 10,000 miles and very light use.
Yeah.
You know, I got a steal of a deal. I mean, that car knew would be 12,000 more.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, I got a good interest rate, or I would have gotten a good interest rate. I did get a good interest rate for you.
For what? Oh, from me.
Huh?
From me. Yeah.
I'm not saying you should do that. I say, you know, obviously, those things are like a lot of other things. You know, whether you want to pay cash or not depends on your own comfort level.
Right.
much about the resale market for, you know, for RV stuff.
I think it's pretty terrible. I think there's a big
penalty.
Even more than, I mean, for off new, I think the minute you drive it out, the price drops to half.
Oh, I don't know if it's half, but it's certainly substantial.
And, you know, you could look for a used one.
Yeah, but then you're buying a pig in a boat.
Well, it's true. But overall, it's going to be cheaper.
Well, I mean, certainly you would want it if you were going to buy a used one. You would certainly want to have it inspected.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? I mean, what's the alternative to doing something like this kind of project for you?
The alternative is, well,
I mean,
well, of course,
is doing nothing okay?
Yeah, if you do nothing, you can probably rent a place anywhere you want if you're willing to pay the high prices in the summer in some area.
Yeah, there's no virtue of not owning anything is that then you're not tied to a particular place.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you know, instead of going up to Cholo or someplace like that, you could go, you know, to San Diego for a while.
Yeah. Of course, you could do that with an RV, too.
Yeah. I mean, you can stay in an RV place out there. I mean, that's why I would look at the RV solution. Only because I know I wouldn't necessarily want to always be going to the same place.
Now, the thing I like...
I mean, and the weather, you know, the weather changes. I mean, I know
Right.
there's going to be a lot of places in Arizona that are going to always be hot this summer from now on.
Well, it won't be up there at 7,000 feet. It won't be up there at 7,000 feet unless there's an earthquake.
How would the earthquake help?
Well, the giant fault went through it.
Oh, you mean if it suddenly becomes oceanfront
Yeah,
property?
yeah. One of the things that I kind of liked about that Juniper Ridge thing, in spite of the $150 or $200 a month, was that you had some kind of golf course privileges,
Right.
which you might be able to use. I wouldn't be interested, but...
Well, I think certainly it ought to be something you're going to do for you.
I mean, if we shared the use of the place in the summertime, that would make a big difference. And of course, you could always go up there and inspect it.
Right.
Once a month in the winter. Those places are pricey, though.
Right.
With the fees, even. Right? You know, there's a monthly fee, but the cost of owning one, the prices they're offered at,
Right.
is quite high. Now, one of the good things about it would be if you could find one that was just a pad.
Right.
It would be a little cheaper. There was one offered. It would be a little cheaper. Of course, you'd still have the $150 a month or whatever.
Right.
But you could use the clubhouse to shower and, you know.
Right.
And they have a lot of activities apparently, although I don't know if I care about the activities, but I think there are people who live there year-round. Probably not in RVs.
You know, I imagine there are RV parks where you could go for 3 or 4 days if you could.
Yeah. The prices are pretty high, though, at those places. I mean, like, for instance, even at Catalina State Park, they're getting like $50 a night for a campground place.
Right.
You know, for an RV-equipped campground place.
Well, I mean, the other concern that I would have, as things are now, at least, for me, is it's not clear to me whether I'm going to be able to do stuff. Whether I'm going to be physically able to do stuff.
Well, like playing golf.
Well, certainly. I haven't played golf now since before I had my last surgery. And I'm not sure that I can.
Yeah, well, that's a consideration.
No, it is.
I should know that, because then...
I mean, unless I go get that fused, it's very likely that I will not be able to play.
So finding a place on a golf course is not a high priority.
Right. I mean, part of why I did all this is to be able to play again.
Right.
But I'm not sure that's going to, work out.
It's not going to work out.
And, so what I can do...
Well, that's not a good bet, then.
I mean, what I can do now, and what I'm going to be able to do in 2 years,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You can certainly take walks now.
Do what?
Take walks.
Well, I can, provided they're not really, really hard. I mean, that joint is unstable. And so, why I had to cancel that one day last week was because I got up out of bed and something tweaked that joint. And I suddenly couldn't feel my leg.
Yeah.
And, I'm certainly at the age now where there are no guarantees that, that it's all going to work out.
Hi.
Who's this?
Beans.
What kind of dog? Oh, is that how it is? They love water. Although never was. He would not even through a pump. But the one I got down to have a good one.
The other thing, of course, would be to look for something just as an investment.
Right. That's assuming you think that in the short to medium term that there is a good investment in real estate.
Well, yeah, the trouble is the prices are so high.
Well, and they're increasing so fast.
Yeah, but like you say, you know, like the difference is it just takes longer to get your money based on past history to get your money out. If you can wait long enough,
Right.
you'll
in the
get.
long run, it's always going to be fine.
You'll
but
make
not
your
in the
money,
medium and short
but in the short term, it wouldn't be.
Right.
And I think right now, kind of at a minimum, to get a decent place, even if you bought a piece of land and developed it, and you know,
Well, if you buy a piece of land that, you know, got water and other utilities to the, to the, you know, to the edge of the property,
yeah,
you're basically paying some developer to do that, and
right,
that's where a lot of the cost is.
yeah, and
I mean, it would be different if you were a contractor.
But I think you're going to have to find, I think you're going to have $200,000 in a place to get it to the point where it would be usable and saleable. Minimum.
Even up in Sholo or someplace like that?
Oh yeah,
Especially up there.
the standard prices up there. Now they're for bigger places.
Right.
The place is about 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
250, 300,000, even 400,000.
Wow. Because that's more than you would pay in Sahuarita for a new.
Yeah, depending on where they are. And of course it's because it's close to Phoenix.
There's what?
It's as close to Phoenix as it is to Tucson.
Right.
And funny.
Well, it's a resort.
All right, well, I've renewed the battery. There's a big yucca here. And a good view of the Rincon Mountains,
Where's the
including, right there,
Oh.
including Mica Mountain and lots of other mountains. And so we're going to continue back. And I'm not sure and Charlotte doesn't want me to waste my money, or you know, she'd rather have it in a bank account where you can get it than in an investment.
Right.
And I mean, they lost, George and Charlotte lost something like 40% of their net worth in the crash in
Oh yeah, I got hammered.
2008.
Yeah, I got hammered too.
Now, Kay and I didn't lose anything.
Well, you were more on top of it than I was.
Well, we,
My net worth at that point was all in stock.
yeah,
And mutual funds.
and stocks, that's what took a beating.
And those got hammered, and the problem was I started needing that stuff.
Too late.
Well, I started needing that money.
Oh yeah, right when
And
it,
so I couldn't wait till it recovered.
right.
And it took quite some time for it to
You sure did.
recover.
And that's always the risk with
Well, any investment has that problem.
stocks.
I mean, has that risk. I mean,
So what's going to happen here with inflation is I'm going to suffer paper losses,
yeah.
substantial paper losses in my account. Now, every time I get new money through redemptions or something, I'm going to be able to get higher interest rates.
Right.
But it's not going to make up for the losses in the account value.
Well, it depends on
There is water down there, Andy.
Where?
Right there in the creek. See it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, and that one tributary.
Right there.
No, I see
At
it.
the bend.
Well, it's on this side of the deepest part.
Yes. And whether it goes around and keeps going, I don't know, but at least it's coming out there.
Well, there should be water melting off the peaks
Yeah.
after the snow.
I think so.
The day before, so. And, you know, there was some amount of rain.
Yeah. We had rain.
Huh?
We had rain.
I had a lot of rain. Actually, I don't know how much it was.
I don't really know how
Seemed
much
like
either.
It rained a long time.
Yeah. But, so I've probably lost $50,000 on paper
Yeah.
already.
Is that because the price of your stock has declined?
The bonds.
Oh, the bonds.
As interest rates go up,
Right.
the bond, the value,
Price goes down.
the value of my old bonds, you know, at 2.5% goes down because.
But that's only if you have to sell them. So it's a.
Well, right. It's paper loss. It's a paper loss.
Right.
So it makes you look poorer. Now you still have the exact same income,
Right.
and when your bonds redeem, you're going to be investing it at higher interest rates,
Right.
although they won't actually be much higher. I'll be lucky to get 3%.
What are you getting now?
John tells me that bonds, in high quality bonds, you can get 2.6.
Oh, okay. You can buy them at that.
Well, they pay. Their coupon.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Their coupon is 2.6.
Right.
And you can buy them at about par.
Well, that's interesting.
I mean, if you want higher interest, you can pay over par.
Yeah, but why would you do that?
Well, I don't like to pay over par.
I wouldn't.
But bond traders do that all the time. And
Well, yeah, but that's a really short-term view, right?
well,
I mean, that's assuming you're buying and selling.
my approach is I want to buy them at a discount if I can, and I want good interest rates, but more than that, I want high quality bonds that are unlikely to crater.
To default.
Yeah. And so
I'm surprised at how, this is a totally different topic, I'm surprised at how much foot traffic there is.
yeah, this is really quite a bit used, isn't it?
Yeah.
Must be people that live out here.
No, I bet it's not only that.
No, I think people could come.
That's actually the other component of people that are visiting.
Yep.
Not necessarily permanent residents.
Right, yeah.
The gem show is over, right?
I believe so, yeah. The traffic is still terrible.
Well, given the winter storms at large in the country,
Yeah. I had terrible traffic on Oracle Road today.
you had terrible traffic where?
On Oracle Road,
Oh, yeah, Oracle Street has been awful.
coming down.
Every time I get on that, I think maybe I should just go over to Orange Grove Road or
Well, you can go up La Cañada,
up all the way to Tangerine and then come across there.
or you know, there's a way. If you go up Thornydale,
Yep,
you can cut over on Lambert Lane,
yep.
and there's not a lot of traffic on there. Only when there's a school up there on Thornydale,
Right.
and if you're going when the school is out,
Well, yeah.
then there's a lot of traffic right there. But
Right, you just have to time your...
yeah, for the most part, Thornydale is not that
I
heavily
came back that way,
used.
last time I was
But remember, Lane,
to Costco.
yeah, right, that's exactly the way to Costco.
Down to Roger Road.
Well, you can go on Thornydale, you can go past Ina, and Costco's right there. Or past Orange Grove. Costco is just past Orange Grove.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at that area, Orange Grove Road and Ina Road aren't that far apart.
No, they're a mile apart or something. Right.
Well, they both wind around more than normal. You know,
Right.
sectional boundaries.
But no, so it's hard to know what to do with these inflated property prices.
Well, I think you have to wait and watch it a little bit too. I mean, there's no rush, right?
There's no rush.
I mean, I think that's always useful to remind yourself about.
I don't have to do anything.
Right.
Engelman.
Oh, that's different from that other one.
Yeah, it is. This is like a hedgehog or something. I want to get a picture of it.
You don't want your shadow in the photo.
Okay. One thing that's different out here is there's a lot of greasewood
Right.
that there isn't over on the Tucson Park, you know, the Saguaro Park West. Although there may be in other places. It's just not. So, another. Yeah. Well, another place I've started to look at, peek at.
Where?
Peek at.
I don't know where that is.
No, I've started to peek at it.
Oh, okay.
Is Silver City, New Mexico, which is about the same time as to get there as it is to get to Pine Top. Yeah. But their prices are, you know, up at the moon.
They are?
Yeah. There's there's only one condo in Silver City. I thought, well, you could buy a condo.
I always really condos because I think they don't tend to favor, you know, certainly from an investment point of view. They're more risky because they're much more variable.
Well, that's true, I guess.
So, you know,
it's not true. I don't know that that's going to persist. You know, it's hard to know what the younger generation is thinking now, or is going to do.
They tend to be renting, according to everything I've read.
Yeah, there's a lot of scuttlebutt that says they're not buying. They're choosing to rent.
Right.
And
part of that is they have a shorter term mindset.
well, it gives them more flexibility.
Right.
Yeah. They can.
Well, and the mindset is partly they don't know how permanent their job is.
Here, can you put that in my backpack?
Sure. Where?
Probably that same pocket with the other things.
Well, it's going to be tight.
All right,
See
don't.
about the one
Then
above.
put it in the one above. Incidentally, there's a walnut bar in there for you,
Oh, thank you.
if you want, and there's one in there for me too. There are a couple.
There's a blueberry and a walnut. Which one do you want?
I'll take the blueberry.
That's my favorite too.
Oh, you want the blueberry? Fine. I'll eat the walnut.
Here.
All right.
So I put that strap
Yeah.
in the same.
In that same pocket where
Yeah.
these bars were. Okay.
You need a. Hold on, I've got a knife. I'm gonna open my. You want me to open that?
Nah, just check.
Oh well. I don't. Yeah, I bought a whole box of each of the flavors
Yeah.
at the supermarket. I can't remember the supermarket. Might have been pretty Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, my Safeway is just like constantly out of stuff.
Yeah, they all are.
I think it's a way of jacking up the price.
Well, I'm sure they're having trouble getting stuff and getting stuff transported. I mean, we know from what's being said about from the studies that it's really hard to book a shipment on time.
Well,
By truck. And whether
Safeway has their own distribution.
well, they do, but they're having trouble getting drivers.
Well, be thankful we're not in Canada.
And you know, in some cases, Safeway. I mean, there's a lot of vendor-managed inventory in supermarkets, which means that Safeway isn't involved. And the vendor-managed stuff can be out, and they can be having real trouble getting the people to stock the shelves and getting the people to and getting the shipments. So when I taught logistics 8 months ago or so, I had this one woman in the class who was a dispatcher for a trucking firm.
She was a what?
A dispatcher for a trucking firm. And she said they hired a driver and they scheduled him to haul load to Dallas. So he drove the truck, a new hire, at a bonus. Drove the truck to Dallas,
And
parked it, and walked off. So not only did they not get the delivery there on time, but now they had to find and train another driver.
Right.
And I'm sure that stuff is happening all the time. And another reason is that the U.S. government put in a website where all the truckers have to have mandatory medical exams and they
Right.
have to have drug testing and
Right.
stuff like that. So all the and accidents and violations and all that stuff gets put into that database. And now it's required that firms hiring truckers must check that database before hiring them. Well, the problem is that the federal government considers marijuana use a crime, whereas many states
Don't.
have legalized it. So the truckers are perfectly legal in their state, but because they tested for marijuana, they can't get a job as a trucker.
Right.
And something like half of all the turn downs are for that.
I don't know why that's so hard to repeal.
Well, I don't either. But it's just coming to light. The thing's only been up like a year and a half. So like any of those things. Another thing, it used to be, it had like traffic stops in it, right? And the problem was that a lot of states on localities, the information comes from states and localities.
Right.
There's no central clearinghouse, and they all have their own rules for how they go about it. And lots of times, in a lot of jurisdictions, the local people, the local cops, write a ticket before they ever, you know, when they're going to make a stop, they already write a ticket, regardless of whether they're going to prosecute it or not. And so then they inspect the trucker, and the trucker's perfectly fine, but there's already a ticket in the system. It says they got ticketed. So it's a traffic violation, right? Even though it was just a case where the cop decided he'd stop this truck, right? And maybe he was going to look for a weight violation or something.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can. But that's what happens with the system. It was picking up these things that weren't really tickets. The truckers.
Yeah, I know that whole way that they actually handle that stuff.
The truckers were furious about it. And the trucking, whatever it's called.
Industry?
No, the regulatory agency.
Oh.
FMCA, Federal Motor Carrier Organization, was dragged into a big review of that whole process. And they agreed that there was a lot wrong with it. I don't know, I didn't follow it closely enough to see whether they actually fixed it. And of course now, anybody who wants to be a truck driver is going to LA, because the rates they get out of LA are like double what they are anywhere else for the exact same work.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't have food.
Yeah. So, in the Midwest and all, nobody can find truckers.
Well, it's also the case that overall businesses do not want to pay more for labor.
That's right, and that's one of the big things.
So they're always pushing to
course, they think it ought to be a certain price. But it's not.
Right. No, it's higher. And I read an article yesterday that pointed out that despite all the fuss about the inflated rates, transportation is about 7% of the cost of an item. So there's no way it's going to add that much to the price.
What they have is a bunch of MBAs running up, the pricing stuff, and these guys have never had to work.
So and of course you could solve it all by allowing immigrants. Now there's that thing. I think that's one of those fun. Oh, you're right. It's just that the hood is off.
In the front.
Yeah, it's a car.
Right. The trunk is there.
Uh-huh.
The roof is there.
Right.
I've been there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a very old car.
Yeah. Well, it used to be that these ranchers and things would just drive an old car out on their property and leave it.
I bet what happens now, they got stuck out there.
It could have gotten stuck in the muddy weather.
And they just abandoned it.
They just walked off.
And that looks like
Yeah. And of course, this is a floodplain.
Huh?
This is a floodplain.
Right.
And clearly, if you had heavy conditions, a lot of that area.
The stream itself is the deepest part is over there.
Yeah, and a lot of this would be flooded or swampy in extreme conditions. Hmm?
This is all kind of sandy soil, even up here.
Yeah, seems like it, doesn't it? I don't know what's underneath this. There must be something hard because it's not eroding. Like the, where the riverbed is.
Well, I'm sure there's rock underneath.
Well, it must be harder rock because otherwise it would have eroded out like the stream. Well, of course, the edges are gradually sloughing off. But the interesting thing about erosion, completely counter to what we were taught in school, is that erosion, we used to say that it's the wearing away every day with wind and rain and so on. And that's baloney.
It's the floods.
It turns out, right, that erosion happens in major incidents followed by long periods of no change.
Or very minor.
Yeah, minor change.
I think that might be an Eastern-centric idea.
Well, I don't know, but even when I was teaching you, we were telling kids that.
Yep.
And
but I think that's an Eastern-centric kind of thing.
The whole thinking on it completely changed.
Yeah.
Well, it's even true in the East.
Yeah, but it's probably less true there.
Well, on the other hand, in the East they have more rain and more big storms to create incidents.
Well, flooding is going to definitely be the way of the world going forward.
Well, people are going to be more sensitive to it. That's for sure.
Are we going back the way we came?
Yes, exactly. I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's the bridge down there.
Well, yeah, but I feel like you're descending more than you went up.
And it looks to me like we're going back the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, we're right on the trail. Well, I think.
mean?
Oh yeah, that's right.
This whole area has been considerably built up. I mean, I think the population's doubled since I was...
And there are a lot, I noticed there are a fair number of housing developments that you can see from the freeway.
Right.
And there are probably more if you go back in
I think there's...
along Old Spanish
Well,
Trail.
I mean, I think everybody puts a premium on that freeway access.
Mm-hmm.
Never quite understood that. I guess if you live in the Tucson area, you often have to go to Phoenix if you are still in your working life and traveling at all.
Could be.
Huh?
Oh, here's the, we're almost there.
Yeah. I see the...
Goda, the Ramada is there.
Yeah, looks like there's a solar thing down there right ahead of it.
Or a sign.
Yeah. Oh, it could be.
I think it's a trail sign for the Cienega Creek thing.
Yeah. Did we cover all of the topics that you can remember?
Well, there was another one. I don't remember it. My sense is that it was electronic.
Oh.
It was something. Do you have something or other? And it was something kind of electronic.
Okay.
And there's another thing. I've been trying to shop for a one of these hoses.
Oh,
I
this
have
kind of
my
thing?
idea to put in my pocket, or put one on a bottle instead of on a bladder.
Just because you...
Well, I'd prefer a stainless steel bottle to a plastic bladder. But I haven't been able to put it together yet.
This one is a Camelback. I
Yeah.
think it's called.
Yeah.
You might see their parts thing, see if they're nice.
Yeah.
I've never seen one that had a, there was a bottle with a plug for that.
No, there are some available that are supposed to screw on different kinds of bottles. There's a lot of them available for what's called a hydro flask.
Oh,
And a hydro flask is,
it's aluminum, right?
well, yeah, it's designed to be hot or cold. It's kind of like a Yeti.
Yeah.
You know, it's an expensive thing.
Right.
And it's, it has a specialized type of lid. So they make these things, they make adapters. Look, it's like an old building or something.
No, that's that bench.
Oh, is that the bench we were at before? Yeah. Huh.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, the bench is in between those two concrete, or
Yeah.
two masonry.
Yeah, it's nice out here. Another thing you could do is go on that horse trail.
What?
You could go on that horse trail. I think that's the one that goes down to the creek. Anyway, hopefully for next week I'll get my permit.
Yeah, we can do next week.
And now we know where to go.
Now what?
Now we know where to go.
Yeah.
It'll be easier. Hi.
Did he go swimming?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little chilly, but okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, really? Wow.
I saw that.
would have believed that too. Yeah. So that thing is the. I wonder if that's a solar thing on top of that sign thing.
I don't think so. I think it's a sign. We can go down there and see.
No, I don't care.
I don't see why they'd need solar down there. All right, I'm turning this off.
Yeah, we got
It's a nice parking
just
area.
over 3 miles.